And hello and good morning. We are live. I am David Boles, and this is Boles.tv. And we are trying to still figure out what's going on with our updates and our windows and all of that. So I'm going to put a little mute on my microphone and see if I can listen to the TV and see if this is sounding right in your ear as well as mine. I think it sounded okay, but now I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe it worked. So I think for now, we're okay. And I tell you, this new Windows experience is very interesting. I get everything all... I believe it worked. Oh boy. So I think for now, we're okay. Turning it down. The Windows experience, you get all ready to go, and you're happy, and everything's working, and you worked all day yesterday to get it set up, and you get everything set up today, and everything's updated, and update your camera. And then you get ready to click the Go Live button. And what happens? You get a little note from Windows Update saying, oh, no, we need to restart your computer. We have things to install. Now, I'm sure you could postpone that and do it, but I'm thinking, hey, maybe there's something that's with my software that'll give me a better stream if I just restart. So then I have to carefully close everything because I have a lot of windows open with Chrome, a lot of tabs. And they don't all stay open if you close Chrome the wrong way. If you just click on the X, everything gets closed, then you open it up again and it's all gone. You have to choose the 3 dots and then choose Exit. And then Chrome will close down if you have the Save Window Spaces selected originally. Then when you restart Chrome, everything gets put back the way it's supposed to be. A little bit different than the way the Mac version works. But at least it's working. Now you have to tell me if the music's too loud, if I'm too loud, if nothing's loud enough, if everything's too loud. It's all fine. This is all part of the process of live streaming and finding your way in a brand new world, which is a very interesting place to be. We are learning. And in about 20 minutes, the beautiful and talented Janna Marie will be here with us in a live Zoom call. Now that we don't really have anything to say, this is part of our ongoing Windows test. But I am trying to chat with her to have her show up every day at 9:30 to say something on the live stream via Zoom. And she said no. You can't get a yes unless you ask. And often when you ask, you get a no, which is perfectly fine. I'm thrilled that she's able to carve out a few minutes just so we can see how a live Zoom meeting works in this setup. We practiced yesterday, but offline, and as we know, that recording offline and being live is a very different experience when it comes to streaming. So she'll be here. We'll have a wonderful time with her. We're going to figure out if this works. We'll see if the Zoom camera and our streaming software can keep up with her signing in ASL, American Sign Language, from far away, meaning via a Zoom thing, and her not having her right here. Because it should work fine, but then you should also not have to restart your computer 1 minute before you're ready to go live. That's just the way it goes in the streaming world, I've learned. I have turned up my microphone just a smidge to see if we get a little bit better cooperation from our noise canceling software. Now, I wonder if I can see what this sounds like, if I can test this just a moment with you. Because the monitor is off. If I turn the monitor on, this is... that doesn't sound good. And this one Yeah, I'm hearing myself. Yeah, not so good. All right. So we turn the monitor off. And here we are. It is, what is it? This high definition camera is really showing every hair on my head. And the old joke is when I go to the barber, I say, look, I just have one request. As you cut my hair, cut only the gray and leave the brown. And over the past few years, we've had a little trouble with that. So here we are in our news stream with our high definition camera. Boom, high definition camera. We had to set up a second camera. Hey yo, this is our second camera. A nice camera. This is our Logitech Brio. As you can tell, this is streaming at a different resolution than our Elgato Facecam. I had to set up this camera in order to use Zoom during a live broadcast, because Zoom will not allow me to use the same camera. So I had to set up a second camera. So I connect with Janna on Zoom with this camera, and then I'll be live with our other Elgato camera. It's very strange. And you can see this camera is slightly different. It's not as high definition as our Elgato cam. You can tell it doesn't hold black very well, is the technical term, meaning that it's just kind of fuzzy and grainy here on the sides with the black, and over here with the black. And if I go back to my main screen, you can see that it's exactly the same setup. It's just how cameras operate differently. This is wider. This, you can see this here is more gray instead of just black. Over there, gray instead of black. This is just dark and a little dreary. But I do look a little bit better because it's not as high definition. And I will look even better in Zoom, because Zoom adds some color and makes you look more beautiful, because that's part of their software. And I totally accept that. Everybody needs a little help. So that was the fun we had yesterday, was trying to set up our second cam, which has raised our CPU usage by about 0.5%, which is very interesting. Just plugging in a cam increases CPU usage. And I have it set up in our streaming software that when that second camera is not on, turn off the camera. So it's not like it's on and not doing anything. It's not on at all. Oh my gosh, it's Dora. So far, so good. Oh, that's why you look better. Yeah, I should show you. I wonder if I can start a Zoom meeting. Maybe I'll just start the Zoom meeting, because Janna Marie will be here momentarily. And then I can have a meeting with myself. So let me see if this works. Connecting. You're connecting to a computer audio. Start your video cam. Okay, so here I am. I'm talking to myself. Here I am in Zoom with the Brio camera. Now, if I go to my second cam here, I think that's going to be blank. Yeah, see, it's blank. You see nothings, because Zoom is now using that camera. So I go back to my main camera. Hello. Yes. And now I go to my Zoom setup to see how that looks. Hey. I'm talking to myself. Now, in moments, Janna Marie is going to be on the left side of your screen, and I'm going to be on the right side of my screen. But if you want to see the difference in streaming cameras. You are seeing it right now. This is what, wait. I can't say this is me because they're both me. The me on the right side is the Elgato face cam. High definition, a $300 cam. Me on the left side is coming through Zoom with the beauty filter on. And you can tell my face is a little redder, which is very interesting because it's exactly the same setup. And it's a little fuzzier because it's not as sharp, and that is a $180 camera. Now, if we were really doing this right, we'd have a $2,500 DSLR camera, and then we would look really fantastic. That's in the future, but the future is not here yet because that's the money. But this is a very interesting setup where I could interview myself. If I could only make one side speak and the other side be quiet as I'm answering myself. What's the weather like today where you are? Well, it's very rainy and overcast. And it might snow in the afternoon. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, it's not good. Climate warming, climate change, whatever they call it. That's what's going on. So this is part of the fun of dealing with technology, is you look one way, and you look the other way. And I'm sure there's some kind of camera setting that I can change on the Elgato so I don't look quite so burned out. My forehead here is very burned out on the Elgato. But who handles shadows better? That's another test of a camera. Probably the Elgato, because the Brio, as you can see, goes out of focus. And that was the main problem we had with the Brio when we were doing sign language a lot, which we're always doing, is it would snap in and out of focus. I think this is my remote. And I show you the remote here, and here's the remote on the Brio. And it stays very fuzzy. And then here's the remote on the Elgato, sharper, but always in focus. The Brio, not so much. Now, some of that, I guess, could be the beauty filter that is on the Zoom. But in my experience yesterday, it was not the same thing. Looked the same. It didn't matter if it was beauty camera on, a beauty filter on or not. All right, so that's fun. Now, as we're getting ready for a brief Janna Marie meeting, just to help us test, we'll check out the price of Ethereum. And oh boy, if you remember, you were here yesterday, we were hovering around 2,500. It's been as low as 2,300. Now it's almost back up to 2,800, and we're looking for 3,000. But this is very, 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 very good news. Look, a few hours ago, it was sort of tanking at 2,600, and now look, 2,700. And look, even here, even more. The Bitcoin is up 8%, trading at $42,000, and it used to be 40. So Bitcoin, the yellow in this chart, is just what they say. The technical word is oh my. That's the financial word. Oh my. Why is Bitcoin bouncing way back? Because Bitcoin earlier and even yesterday was, 3,600, 3,500. It was a great time to buy if you were so inclined. Well, all the experts seem to think it's because of this. Big Joe Biden. He's going to sign an executive order on crypto this week. And when he made that announcement, the crypto market exploded, went way back up. Ethereum went up, Bitcoin went up. Everybody's happy about it. And I'm not exactly sure why, because the whole idea of Bitcoin is we don't want government interference. But I guess government can interfere with the internet. And if you don't have access to the internet, then you don't have access to your Bitcoin. So big President Joe Biden is set to sign an executive order this week summarizing the U.S. government's strategy for dealing with cryptocurrencies. The order would direct federal agencies to consider potential regulatory changes in addition to the national security and economic implications of cryptocurrencies. The White House has been under pressure to play a more central role in setting policies for and regulating digital assets. That sounds ominous to me. The pressure has only increased with the sanctions imposed against Russia for its invasion of Ukraine, and concerns that companies and individuals could use cryptocurrencies to circumvent them. The White House has been working on the order since last year. It takes them a long time to do a little bit of anything. And the White House has been working on the order. In January, reports surfaced that the order was coming soon. The order will require federal agencies to report later this year on their progress with respect to dealing with digital tokens, according to Bloomberg. CoinDesk has reached out to the White House to confirm the report, but blah, blah, blah. So here's how Reuters reported that. That was from CoinDesk, which is slightly partisan. The lead from Reuters is U.S. President Joe Biden is expected to sign a long-awaited executive order directing the Justice Department, Treasury, and other agencies to study the legal and economic ramifications of creating a U.S. central bank digital currency. A source familiar with the matter. Well, that's good. We'll see. He's also been studying, the impact of forgiving student loans or forgiving some student loans or some part of student loans. And he's had that report, I think, for over 6 months and has done nothing with it. So this all may be a head fake through the cryptocurrency market. But in many ways, he has to do something because crypto is what's going to keep Russia alive in this Ukraine battle. And now we're going to take a very brief break as I get ready to bring Janna Marie in here live. So I'm going to take a break, then come back and set this up and see if I can get this working. Who knows? It's an experiment. I don't even know what day. What day is this? This is Monday or Tuesday? It's Wednesday. It's only Wednesday, and here we are. I will be back in a moment. We are back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv. You'd think I'd do this before I turned on the microphone and everything. Sometimes you got to get up there and get things turned on. Oh, and the microphone's on. Oh, I left the microphone on. The TV's up. I'll be right back. Here's the new Be Right Back screen. I'll leave the microphone on so you can hear what I'm doing. Okay. Oh my goodness. That was embarrassing. And I'm back from a little break. I guess on the break I must have turned up the sound in the living room to see how the music was playing. And then I forgot to turn it back down. And then I start talking and I hear myself. It gets very scary. Well, we're looking for the Janna Marie, and we're not seeing her. We might have to WhatsApp her and say, dude, what's up, dude? Unless you can't get in. Maybe I sent her the wrong link. I don't know. But as we know, whatever's happened, it's my fault. We'll see if the boss lady responds. In the meantime, I did check during break. It is raining, and people have umbrellas, and they look very unhappy today. And our current temperature, 37 degrees, with the wind 9 miles out of the east. And 9 is the acceptable limit when it comes to blowing wind. Anything over 9 is very cold, very drying, and very painful. And the last few days we've had winds, according to my watch, up to 20 miles per hour, which is like totally, multiply miserable. And Dora said it's a miserable day out here too. Yeah, it's just really strange, gross weather. And it's raining now, but they say in the afternoon, it just might do more than that. Meaning, we just might have a little bit of snow coming our way, which everybody thought we were done with snow. Oh, it's not going to snow again. So here's the latest weather report. Let me see if I can find the right screen. The latest weather report from I have a lot of weather apps, and my favorite one is AccuWeather. And it has an association with Channel 7 in New York, which is okay, but they tend to put their branding and their logo and their weather people on everything, and it's not a lot of fun. So this is the Minutecast that I like a lot. On iOS, it looks very different. It looks more like a circle. But you can see the rain is falling. And then you want to check what's happening throughout the day. You click on hourly. And you get this. Wind is going to be east-southeast, 8 miles per hour, gusting to 13, which is painful. Here we go. At noon, it's going to be snowing maybe and raining. At 4 o'clock, snow and rain. 5 o'clock, snow and rain. 6 o'clock, snow and rain. Oh, it looks like we have a surprise guest. She's entered the waiting room. Now, how do I get her in here? Admit the Janna Marie. And she is admitted into the room. Oh my gosh, there she is. Now, let me get this set up. Let me see if I can find her. Zoom. Oh, this works. Oh, now let me see if I can. I have to move her a little bit. Move her this way. Oh, she's so cute. There she is. And here's. I do this with my big ugly I need to make her face smaller somehow. I guess that's good enough. I don't know why this is not... Hmm? Hmm. I don't know how... I don't know where I am. And why she's overpowering me. Maybe I need to move it this way a little more. She can't see me. Okay. So... I guess I should go this way. A little more. Hello! Janna, baby! What's up? Everything's good outside. It's cold, windy, raining, gloomy. But I came, I'm here, it's good. It's warm inside. I have some tea, hot tea. Warm. How are you? I am okay. It's very gloomy. It's raining. Dora said it's raining on her too. So we're all together raining. Now I understand you have a fun story to share with us today. Yes, well, I think it's interesting that I have what? A mask. You know, this, my clear mask. I'll show you what it looks like so you understand what we're doing with my mask. Looks good. Beautiful. It's easy for people to read my lips if they have to, but every morning I put on my mask, that mask, and I'm walking, and it's fascinating how people look at me. And I thought, that's nothing, okay, because we see people with masks all the time. Different styles, different designs, animals or hearts, whatever. It's cool. Mine is see-through. I guess they've never seen that before. So I get a funny expression, different people. And sometimes when we're walking to each other, they look at me as I walk by. They stare and stare. Or sometimes a person comes up and has that face trying to figure out, what is that mask? One or two times I've seen people laughing at me. They come up and they laugh and they're making fun of the mask. That's how I feel. Sometimes I get compliments. People come and say, hey, I like that. And that's cool. And a few times people come up to me and say, hey, where'd you get that? I want to know. I want to buy one. So that's interesting. Different reactions to my mask. Sometimes I sit there and I stare at them and they look at me and I look at them because I know, why are you there staring at me? If I'm in the subway and I'm sitting there looking and staring and I look, they look the other way. So they know that's funny. It's interesting how people behave with these masks today. And what about at work? Do people there support your clear mask? Are they weird about it? That's a good question. Yeah, I feel supported. I go to work. Helps them remember that I am deaf. It's funny, I don't need a mask. I need them to wear a clear mask so I can read their lips. They don't need to read my lips. That's why it's sort of ironic. So I put on a clear mask and it helps them remember, oh, I can't talk behind my mask, or I'll pull my mask down and speak to you so you can read my lips. I feel there's a lot of support. 2 workers said, wow, I should buy one of those clear masks. But they haven't yet. And then a lot of people say, oh, I want one, I want to buy one. Same thing, but they don't do it. Sometimes a mask helps people to remember I'm deaf, and I like that a lot. And what about teaching ASL with a mask on? Is it possible? Yeah, it's wonderful for teaching during class, having a clear mask, because they can see my mouth expression for ASL. They also have see-through masks themselves. It's a different kind, though. They're all sort of differently made. My mask is see-through. It's a see-through, so I can go like that, show my tongue. Not yet. I have to see the tongue because it's the tongue out. That means negative. Not yet means not. Or far away, I have to do that with my cheeks and my lips and my mouth. It helps them see my facial expression through a clear mask. It helps a lot. And it also helps me see them. I can see with a see-through mask, I can see their facial expressions as well. It's like last time in class, we were learning sign language. Tend to. Pop with your mouth. A mask, clear masks help see that facial expression. They practice pop, pop, pop. It's wonderful to have. Well, that's great, Janna Marie. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're very busy. Don't get rained on. You have an umbrella? Yes. Well, I hope it doesn't snow later. I know. You like it or you don't like snow? Oh, she wants the snow. One more time. Okay. Thank you so much, baby Janna Marie. I say hello to Dora. Happy to see you. Nice to see you here with David and Dora having fun. Okay, bye, baby. Now that worked pretty well. Oh, now see. Now we're going to try to see if I can fix this. Because she's giant and I'm not. Now I'm supposed to be able to use, as I understand it, Alt and then move the window. But the window didn't move. And I don't know why. And maybe it's because, maybe I have the zoom itself too big. Now that's a little bit better. So if I make the zoom window itself of the zoom program itself small. Maybe then I could make myself a little bit bigger. No, I have to do it this way first. But we don't like seeing this white. I don't know why the white's there. I have to figure that out too. It's interesting to try to figure out what's going on. Because I have no idea what's going on. I'm afraid if I click this button, I'm going to end the whole meeting for all. Okay, close the participants. That's what I should have done. Okay, now that maybe is a little bit better. Sure why it's not. This is part of the fun of live broadcasting. Trying to figure it out in real time. Now that's sort of okay. But it makes her very tiny and makes me very big here. I don't know how to make this. Well, I guess I'll have to research it some way. Well, what if I move all the way over here and then blow it up that way? That's a little better. It's a little bit better. It's not great, but a little bit better. Yeah. Okay, we're getting there. We might have to bring her back for part 2. Just kidding, she won't come back. She's very busy, and she lets me know it. So we'll end the meeting. We're all, okay, that's over. That was fun. Whew. I tell you, you think you have stuff worked out, and then it doesn't work out at all. But at least we got a great story from her about her life with clear masks in New York City and trying to figure out how it all works. So let's see, what else is going on there? So we were talking about the weather. What's our weather map like? Our radar map? Looks very scary. It's a lot of heavy rain coming. A lot of heavy rain coming. Look at the rain. Oh, so good. And the blue is snow. Oh my gosh. We tend not to get a lot of snow here, which is interesting. Snow all around us, but not actually where we are. So that's some good news, I suppose. I have to go this way because we're off. Now let me see how I look here. Am I in the middle? Sort of. Zoom meetings, tough. Tough to get it right. I wonder if Google Meet would be better. It makes me wonder. Now I almost want to see what would happen with Google Meet. Because I should have been able to manipulate that much better. Start an instant meeting. Okay, let's see what happens with myself. My meeting is ready. Now this is letting me use my Elgato face cam, which is interesting. But let's change our video just to see what happens. Let's try. Starting. Now there I am. Okay, so here I am. And it looks almost like the same thing, doesn't it? Now this does not have the beauty filter on it. So this is Google Meet, no beauty filter. Before we had Zoom with a beauty filter. This looks terrible. I look, 100 years old. This is not acceptable. There's a reason you use the Zoom. Are the captionings working? Oh, now look at that. That's fancy. Oh, that's fancy. That's sweet. I don't know if it's for both of us or only one of us, but boy, you can't beat that for a sweetness factor. Oh, I turned my camera off. Sorry about that. And then we have raising my hand if I have a question. Keeping it raised. Other options, captions, report a problem. I'm looking for beauty filter, by the way. Oh, apply visual effects. Ooh. No effects, no blur. Let's see. Slightly blur my background. Yeah. I'm looking to slightly blur my face. That's okay, I guess. Or blur. Looks sort of fake-o, but I guess we're just experimenting. So this is me meeting myself in Google Meet. Hello. Using my Elgato. Hello, Elgato. And using my Brio. Hello, Brio. But I don't see an opportunity for a beauty filter, which is bothering me a little bit. So this is really easy too, because it just pops up in your browser and you just go. You don't really have to worry about other people. I'm really tempted to call Janna back and see if she can come here on our Google Meet. But I can't figure out how to send her an invitation. Or maybe I can. Or maybe I can't. I don't know what I'm doing. I know I'm talking to myself. Oh, there's Artist Dora. I see it on Google Meet, and you don't look bad. Well, Dora didn't say I look great, did she? She said you don't look as awful as you usually look. Now, Dora, did you like the Google Meet? Do you like the Google Meet setup, or do you like the Zoom setup? I think you can do Zoom in your browser too. I should check that out. I think. As you can tell, I really don't use a lot of these meeting things. Why isn't the Zoom working? Zoom.us. Okay, I'm going back to the main browser so I don't out myself in case I do something stupid like put in my email address. Oh my gosh, now I had to have authentication. All right, I'll try. You look great, Doris says. Oh my gosh, thank you. A wonderful compliment, and it wasn't pressed forward. I like the Google Meet for the closed captioning. Other than that, it's the same. Interesting. That's very interesting. Well, if it's exactly the same, Google Meet is much, much, much easier to use than Zoom. Because Zoom, I have to resize, I have to call up the Zoom app, which I think is still running. I should probably close that. Well, the Zoom interface isn't showing me anything interesting. But that's slick. Now, I wonder if she would be able to do that on her laptop. Because I know everyone wants Zoom. Nobody wants Google Meet. And I know that hurts Google Meet's feelings, and they're trying to be much better, much more proactive. But these captions are nice, and the reason I really like it is because if I were speaking as the host on the left side of your screen, that would be captioned. Because right now, everything that I'm saying is being captioned because it's coming through this microphone. But if I show a video that's not closed captioned, then it doesn't get captioned. There's a way to do it, but you can't do it in our current software. You have to use a WebSocket, and Streamlabs desktop does not allow WebSocketing for some reason that nobody understands, except for the people at Streamlabs. So this gives me a way that if I want to do an interview with somebody, that I can get captions, even if I already have captions. I think I'm going to see if this interferes with the captioning. And you know, it's a free-for-all today, obviously. So if you have something to say, if you have a question, just say it. If you're on topic or off topic, it doesn't matter. But we're not doing anything with helium balloons. That's out. All right. I see. So the captions appear directly on screen, which I sort of like. And then the chat that is being captioned appears on the other side, which I believe I also sort of like. Oh, I have to turn it back on. Aha. So it's a little small and a little behind my stream closed captioner, which is the overlay for this wonderful broadcast. Not seeing any captions. Oh, there are the captions. So you have it double. So you have the big captions are what I'm saying, and the smaller captions under the Google thing. Oh, look at that. It's not, that looks terrible on me. Don't blur your background. So, oh, it's here. So that's very interesting. Big captions are what I'm doing. The smaller captions directly under the Google Meet Me is what Google is captioning, which is very, very helpful. Oh, technology is wonderful. Confusing, maddening. Now, I think I have to Google Meet my background because that's just not acceptable to have something that looks like that. How did I do it? How secure is Google Meet? Google Meet is more secure than Zoom, especially if you have a Gmail address or we run our business through Google. So we have Google Drive and Gmail and all of that. So they really, really, really push us to use Google Meet, and we never do because it's always a little bit clunky. But now that there's this web view of it, it's very tempting. Apply visual effects, turn off my blur. Okay, that's better. Because now I can show you this, and it's not blurry. So that's important to do. But it's backward. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, we've got to fix that. It's supposed to automatically fix that, I thought. Maybe not. It's called mirroring. See, because when I turn my head, I'm looking at myself on screen. It's not supposed to be that way. You can see my background is completely flipped from what you're seeing in the real me and then the Google Meet me. Now there's some kind of setting where you can mirror the background or something. Video, meow. Resolution, max. Audio, that we already know. Post controls, that doesn't help. Captions, woo! Love the captions. But there's something about mirroring your background. But maybe it's a different setting. But yes, Google Meet is super secure. It's Google. It's easier to use. It works better than Zoom. It's more reliable than Zoom, but nobody knows about it because they think that Google doesn't know anything. But they've actually put in the sidebar of our Gmail now, they have changed it. They have updated it. So now you just have mail, you have chat, you have Google Spaces, and you have Google Meet. And you can do all of that from your Gmail interface. So it's like an all-in-one buffet, which is sort of appealing if you're not technically proficient or you can't quite figure things out or you can't get things to size right. Because while I don't like that the person I'm chatting with has a small face compared to mine, I do like that you can see the captions with those. Because I have no way to get that in a meeting other than doing it that way. Very interesting. I think it's interesting. I don't know. And now we end the meeting for all. I left the meeting. The horse is out of the gate. And now we're going to take a short break. Come right back, have more fun, answer some questions, figure things out. This is Boles.tv, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Back in a moment. And we are back from break. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. I'm David Boles, and this is a live stream happening Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. and on the weekends at 11 a.m. with Janna Marie Sweeney. All times are Eastern Standard. Now, during the break, Dora said, I got Google Meet mixed up with Google Hangouts. Google Meet is very secure. Well, here's the interesting part about that. Google Meet used to be Google Hangouts. Google Meet, formerly known as Hangouts, is a video communication service developed by Google. And here's the history of it. And Google has a terrible history of starting things and then dropping them. After being invite-only and quietly releasing an iOS app in 2017, Google formally launched Meet in March of 2017. The service was unveiled as a video conferencing app for up to 30 participants, described as an enterprise-friendly version of Hangouts. It launched with a web app, an Android app, and an iOS app. While Google Meet introduced the above features to upgrade the official Hangouts application, some standard Hangouts features were deprecated, including viewing attendees and chat simultaneously. The number of video feeds allowed at one time was also reduced to 8, while up to 4 feeds can be shown in a tiles layout, prioritizing those attendees who most recently used their microphone. Additionally, features such as the chat box were changed to overlay the video feeds rather than resizing the latter to fit in it. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the use of Meet grew by a factor of 30 between January and April of 2020, with 100 million users a day accessing Meet compared to 200 million users daily for Zoom as of the last week in April 2020. Google suspended its usual 60-minute limit for unpaid accounts. So Google Hangouts is dead, and Google Meet is the new Google Hangouts. It's all very confusing. And for some reason, Google does that a lot. They start a great product and then they pull it away after a year or two of trying. So that's why people say, look, don't rely on anything new from Google unless they fold it in to their Google Workspace, which is their paid monthly Gmail, Google Drive, Meet suite, because otherwise it's going to go away. It's just a little test. And that has proven to be true, unfortunately. So what else is going on with the news? Well, this is going on with the news. Very interesting article in ProPublica. In the Ukraine conflict, faked fact checks are being used to spread disinformation. Now, isn't that a genius idea? On March 3rd, Daniel Brezhnev, an official with the pro-Russian separatist region of Ukraine that styles itself as the Donetsk People's Republic, tweeted a video that he said revealed how Ukrainian fakes are made. The clip showed 2 juxtaposed videos of a huge explosion in an urban area. Russian language captions claimed that one video had been circulated by Ukrainian propagandists who said it showed a Russian missile strike in Kharkiv, the country's second largest city. But, as captions in the second video explained, the footage actually showed a deadly arms depot explosion in the same area back in 2017. The message was clear. Do not trust footage of supposed Russian missile strikes. Ukrainians are spreading lies about what's really going on, and pro-Russian groups are debunking them. Brezhnev did not respond to questions from ProPublica. And it seemed like yet another example of useful wartime fact-checking, except for one problem. There's little to no evidence that the video claiming the explosion was a missile strike was ever circulated. Instead, the debunking video itself appears to have been part of a novel and disturbing campaign that spreads disinformation by disguising it as fact-checking. So that's very interesting. So you create a false video claiming that it's real, and the one who is unreal is you claiming that the fake video is actually authentic. It's sort of a genius mirror on a mirror on a mirror on a mirror. Look into my eyes and tell me what I see. I'll tell you what you see. The goal of the video is to inject a sense of doubt among Russian language audiences as they encounter real images of wrecked Russian military vehicles and the destruction caused by missile and artillery strikes in Ukraine. The reason it's so effective is because you don't really have to convince someone that it's true. It's sufficient enough to make people uncertain as to what they should trust. In a sense, they are convincing the viewer that it would be possible for Ukrainian Propaganda Bureau to do that sort of thing. So you just put it in play. You make a mask out of it. And the thing hiding behind the mask is the truth of who and what you really are. At least one Russian government account has promoted an apparent fake debunking video. On March 4, the Russian embassy in Geneva tweeted a video with a voiceover that said, Western and Ukrainian media are creating thousands of fake news on Russia every day. The first example showed a video where the letter Z was supposedly superimposed onto a destroyed military vehicle. Now, what's very interesting about this whole thing, this propaganda thing, is people in Russia have really no idea what's happening in Ukraine. They get calls from their sons and friends and relatives in Ukraine saying, why are you invading us? And they say, what are you talking about? We're not invading anybody. They don't even know there's a war going on. But now, I guess that McDonald's has closed all Russian outlets and Coca-Cola has pulled out, that the Russian people are going to start saying, maybe something is going on and we just haven't been told about it. Now that's an interesting point of view, right? That's how the truth comes out, not through the official lines of the news media, but by direct personal experience and involvement. What's going on? Why can't I get my pig back? Well, the world hates you right now. The fake debunking videos have predominantly spread on Russian language Telegram channels with names like Fake Cemetery. In recent days, they made the leap to other languages and other platforms. One video is the subject of a Reddit thread where people debated the veracity of the footage. On Twitter, they are being spread by people who support Russia and who present the videos as examples of Ukrainian disinformation. Now, we went through this in America in 2016. We already had all these Russian bots and special agents of the government doing all the dirty work for Donald Trump. And people fell for it. And they're still falling for it. And Putin is very happy. Francesca Totolo, an Italian writer and supporter of the neo-fascist Casa Pound Party, recently tweeted the video claiming that Ukrainian flag had been removed from a military vehicle and replaced with a Z. No wars are also fought in the media and on social. Now wars are also fought in the media and on social networks. So there you go. What's the truth? We don't know. Are we trying to figure it out? Some of us are trying. Here's another great piece from ProPublica. Billionaire-backed group enlists Trump-supporting citizens to hunt for voter fraud using discredited techniques. So here we go, Trump and fraud all over again, all happening again. Now, maybe he's sunk himself with Republicans by his take in supporting Putin's invasion of Ukraine. But who can know for sure? Because we don't know. At a wedding hall in rural northwest Wisconsin, an evangelist hollered a question to an eager crowd of conference goers. Who thinks Wisconsin can be saved? He was answered with enthusiastic whistles and cheers. The truth, he said, would be revealed. We need transparency. The subject was the nation's election system. The preacher was among a group of conservative speakers, including politicians, data gurus, and former military officers who theorized on the mechanics of voter fraud in general, and specifically distrust in the voter rolls, the official list of eligible voters. Well, voter rolls are very, very real and very important to the process. In late January in Chippewa Falls, deeming the rolls ground zero for what he called Democratic plots to steal elections. The only way former President Donald Trump could have lost his re-election campaign in 2020, O'Donnell said, is if voter rolls had been inflated with people who shouldn't have been able to cast ballots. Now, where is this all coming from? Because everybody knows who's done any research or any thought about this, that there was no fraud, nothing was going on. There are GOP people who say there was no fraud going on, it's all legitimate and all fine. And yet, the madness perseveres. Now a new group is stepping up into a more conspicuous role by providing easily accessible tools for people in Wisconsin, other Midwest battleground states, and eventually the entire country to forge ahead with a quest to prove election irregularities. You get old and you can't read so well. Calling its work unprecedented, the Voter Reference Foundation is analyzing state voter rolls in search of discrepancies between the number of ballots cast and the number of voters credited by the rolls as having participated in the November 2020 election. In early August, the foundation published on its website the names, birth dates, and addresses and voting histories for 2 million Nevada voters. Information that is normally public but only available on request for a fee. It claimed to have found a significant discrepancy between the number of voters and the number of ballots cast, despite being warned by state officials that its findings were fundamentally incorrect. So this goes on and on. They look for small things, meaningful things that are meaningless, and then they give them meaning by retweeting to each other into a circular firing squad silo of disbelief. The accuracy and integrity of Michigan's elections has been confirmed by hundreds of audits, numerous counts, and a GOP-led oversight committee analysis. This is simply another meritless example of election misinformation being disseminated to undermine well-founded faith in Michigan's election system, and from an organization led by at least one former member of the Trump campaign. And this is a long and beautiful article. Nevada election officials explained it this way in a press release. If John Doe votes and his ballot counted in Lander County, then moves to Mineral County, once he is registered in Mineral County, he will show no vote history because he has no vote history in Mineral County. The farther away the election the farther away from the election the data is required, the more it will have changed. In Connecticut, there were almost 2 million ballots cast in 2020. But the group's examination of voter histories in October 2021 showed almost 2 million people voting. The conclusion is that there was a discrepancy of 37,000 ballots. But state officials say that the registration database is live, and voting histories of those who moved out of the state or died in the months after the election would have been removed from the rolls, accounting for the discrepancy. This is not a static list, said Connecticut Secretary of State. It changes all the time. And scrutinizing the role of your neighbors and your friends, support in GOP circles, it's just an absolutely crazy, bloody mess. It always feels to me that the states in general have gotten a little sloppy in areas, and you just know nobody's really paying a lot of attention to it. Now, I think as conservatives, we're in a place we really got to pay a little more attention. There's a lot of energy on this now, unfortunately for the rest of us, right? The madhouse has taken over. Now, I don't know if you meditate or take moments or if you breathe. I do 10 breaths a day, sometimes more than a day, usually when I go to bed, when I wake up, and around noontime, I do 10 breaths. I inhale, I hold it for 5 counts. I exhale, I hold it for 5 counts. I do that 10 times. On the very last inhalation, I hold it for 10 counts, or 10 heartbeats. And then let it all out, and then count to 10 or 10 heartbeats, whichever one is slower. And that's just kind of a way of controlling my blood pressure and my heart rate. And once you get practice with it, you can learn how to lower the anxiety level of your heart. And now we have this whole new stretch about meditation and scientifically how and why it works and why it's good for you. Meditating for short periods of time is a tool that can make people feel better. Like popping an aspirin when you have a headache. We have a responsibility as researchers to share not only the many positive effects of meditation, but also the inadvertent side effects, such as the potential for it to occasionally relax one's moral compass. To better understand the meditation practices, the researchers conducted 8 experiments with more than 1,400 participants. In their study, the researchers demonstrated that mindfulness does reduce feelings of guilt. Participants were randomly assigned to either write about a past situation that made them feel guilty, or write about their previous day. Then they listened to either an 8-minute guided mindfulness meditation recording that instructed them to focus on physical sensations of breathing, or an 8-minute control condition recording in which they were instructed to let their minds just wander. Participants who listened to the mindfulness recording reported feeling less guilt compared to those in the mind-wandering control group. This was true whether they had written about a guilty situation or their previous day. Thank you for the following. CR Camillo 98. Glad to have you with us. Hope you'll say a little hello. Join us in chat if you're so inclined. The team then ran 6 other experiments to test whether mindfulness meditation would influence pro-social reparative behaviors, like making up with a friend after doing something that caused harm. For example, in 2 experiments, all participants were asked to recall and write about a time they wronged someone and felt guilty. Now, you have to feel guilty first. I know a lot of people who do a lot of terrible things and they don't feel guilty at all. And then, after feeling guilty, they were randomly assigned to meditate or not meditate. After that, they were asked to allocate a hypothetical $100 between a birthday gift for the person they had wronged, a charity for African flood victims, and themselves. Participants who had meditated allocated approximately 17% less to the person they had wronged compared to those who had not meditated and who just let their mind wander. So you think, people are in prison, reform them, teach them how to breathe, teach them how to meditate, and in the process, they feel less guilty. So I guess that's a way to self-heal if you're a professional criminal. Do a lot of focused meditation and let yourself spiritually off the hook for feeling guilty. The psychological process behind these allocation differences was reduced guilt. These and 3 other similar experiments established that mindfulness meditation reduces the tendency to make amends for harming others. This research serves as a caution to people who might be tempted to use mindfulness to meditate to reduce emotions that are unpleasant, but necessary to support moral thoughts and behavior. It's very, very interesting. While focused breathing meditation is the most popular form of meditation, used in mindfulness programs such as the mindfulness-based stress reduction approach at Google's search inside yourself. Oh my goodness, Janna Marie says it's snowing where she is. We're going to take a break in a minute or two, and I'm going to go check and see if it's snowing here. Because usually if it's snowing where she is, 11 miles away, it's not snowing where we are, 11 miles away. We appreciate that weather report. And we would like to ask you to join us in a Google Meet. I don't know if you have Google Meet on your computer, but we tested it, and Dora likes it better than Zoom, and maybe we can find you, Janna Marie, and put you on a Google Meet meeting. Do you have Google Meet on your computer or not? You might. If you have Gmail, think about it and let me know. The study also explored loving kindness meditation, which appears in those programs as well. Loving kindness meditation consists of imagery exercises in which one evokes other people and sends wishes that each is happy, well, and free from suffering. In the final experiment, participants once again wrote about a time they wronged someone and felt guilty, before listening to either a focused breathing mindfulness meditation, according to a loving kindness meditation recording. Participants in the loving kindness group reported higher intentions to contact, apologize to, and make up with the people they had harmed compared to participants in the focused breathing meditation group. The difference was explained by the participants' increased focus on others and feelings of love. Our research suggests that loving kindness meditation may allow people to have the stress reduction benefits of meditation without the cost of reducing repair, because it increases focus on others and feelings of love. So if your meditation is about other people and loving them, then you'll be a nicer person. If your meditation is about relieving your stress in your life, then you're going to feel less guilty and do more crime. That's sort of the whole point of all of this, which I find very funny. And this is a link to the article. Let me see. Oh, maybe it's not here anymore. Maybe I waited too long to show it to you. Oh boy, that's not so good. Oh, I had it all ready for you. Oh well. It's gone with the wind, as they say. Now it's that time of day when we take a very brief blemish break. Maybe Janna Marie will rejoin us in a Google Meet meeting. We don't know because she hasn't said anything back yet. But we will keep you posted and let you know. And I'm going to go see if it's snowing, by the way. Back in a moment. We are back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv. And I have asked Janna Marie if she can do a Google meet, and she's not responding. She must be in another meeting. I did check the weather, and it is not snowing here. There is no change in the weather. It's just rainy and a little ugly. No snow, though. Maybe it's coming our way. I don't know. The meditation story just has me all in a tizzy, because there are 3 described in the research. One is self-meditation, where you reflect, let go of your stress, let go of your bad feelings, let it flow. And that makes you feel less guilty about all the crimes you've committed in your life and all the people you've hurt. Then there's just mindless meditation, where you just quietly sit there for 8 minutes and just, think to yourself. That does not lessen your guilty conscience. Then there's the third one that they tested, which is the love meditation, where you're sending out your love and your good vibes. And I love all the people that I've wronged in my life. And that does not mean that you will be more criminal, as I'm phrasing it. It makes you want to provide love to the person instead of feeling less guilty about the wrongs that you've done them. So I know in prison and in jail who is going to be meditating on what. And the hardcore life criminals are going to be meditating, take this pain away from me so I don't feel any more guilt. And it will probably work. Very, very interesting study. Well, since there's no Janna Marie to help test what's going on with our Google Meet, we are now going to finish the day with a fascinating story about facial transplants. And it's new. There are people who would have problems with their face, and they'd have small surgeries, and they'd have gouges and scars, and one woman, I guess, was burned in a fire, and another had a lot of her face as a child bitten off by a dog. And they have done now successful full facial transplants. You take the face of a dead person and put it on your face. And here's some examples of face transplants that we see online. It's very interesting. I don't know if you would call it technology, medicine. Big changes, fascinating changes. One face to another. And, believe it or not, Johns Hopkins has a face transplant program. Their whole thing is dedicated to giving you a new face. A face transplant can be life-changing for individuals who have been disfigured after a severe injury, were born with differences or birth defects, or suffered burns. I went to school with a guy at UNL. There's Dora. Oh, my brother's mechanic had a deep side scar on the side of his face. Not sure what happened to him. I can ask him. Yeah, I have a friend who has a big scar on his face. It was from a dog bite. And it tells a great story. It was a young kid playing in his backyard, and this dog, the neighbor's dog, came up and bit him on the face and severely, disfigured his lip and his cheek. And then the dog went back over to the neighbor's yard. And he went running and crying inside to his father and his mother took him to the emergency room. And his dad got his shotgun in Los Angeles, 1970s, hopped the fence, and shot that dog in the face and killed it. Now, I have to admit, I admire that kind of justice. Because if the father hadn't done that, what would have been done? Would the dog have been put down? Put down? Maybe, maybe not. But that is a vicious dog who has tasted human blood and who affected the face of a child for the first time ever. Hello, my friend. Yes, we are captioned. My wife, Janna Marie, is deaf, and she joins our live stream when she can't be with us, and she has deaf friends, and we have deaf friends, and they want to watch our live stream, and that is one way we can provide a little bit of captioning in our live stream. And Janna Marie is here on Fridays around 10:15 to provide a hardcore ASL lesson. And on Saturdays and Sundays, all in ASL and typed text, she provides chatting, fun facts, disability advocacy, Saturdays and Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern. So we try to have a lot of fun here with our captions. Sometimes they work great, sometimes they don't work so good. So he blew the face off that dog, and the owner came out and said, why did you kill my dog? And my friend's father told him why, and the guy didn't say anything. And the father went home, took his shotgun, put it away. Nobody spoke of it again. The neighbor didn't say anything. The father didn't say anything. The police were not called. The dad just went out and got raw justice for his son, who still speaks about it now, 50 years later. My dad stood up for me that day. And meanwhile, he still has this terrible scars on his face from his dog. Since 2021, so this is a 1-year-old program at Johns Hopkins, more than 45 patients have received full or partial facial transplants at institutions across the world. It's amazing stuff. Now, here's the newest part that might even interest Dora's mechanic friend. Composite tissue flaps used to be a top priority when possible when someone had reconstructive surgery on their face. Doctors described their experience with a 56-year-old man who sustained a severe injury of the upper face in a traffic accident. The patient had an avulsion injury with a 6 by 8 centimeter area of skin underlying subcutaneous tissue torn off the face, leaving exposed bone below. Now, typically, surgeons reconstruct those types of injuries using flaps obtained from other areas of the body. But especially in a highly visible area like the face, these techniques have important limitations in addition to injury in the donor area. Like they take skin from your leg and put it on your face, and then you have the skin doesn't match, and your leg hair, if you're having, is growing out of a patch on your face. It's the issue. So Dr. Kim and his colleagues were able to follow a different approach, borrowing techniques from facial transplantation. Whereas facial transplants use composite tissue flaps from a deceased donor, the authors were able to perform microsurgical replantation to replace the patient's own tissue. So this is a face transplant, a partial face transplant, not from a dead cadaver, but from yourself. This was possible because the avulsed tissue was clean and intact and had 3 visible and available blood vessels, 2 arteries and a vein. So this piece of his face that was ripped off in a severe traffic accident was saved and brought to the hospital, and they're going to try to sew it back into his own face from his own part of his face that's on the ground after a traffic accident. Now that's a smart EMS team who knows, hey, here's part of this guy's face, let's take it with us and see what happens. In a relatively short 2-hour procedure performed with the use of an operating microscope, the plastic and reconstructive surgery team reconnected the 3 vessels to the circulation in the patient's face. Just amazing technology. With medications to prove, Dora says. with medications to protect blood flow and prevent clotting. The patient recovered without postoperative complications. The replanted composite tissue survived completely. A first of such accomplishments. The results 32 months after the operation was excellent in both terms of aesthetics, how it looks, and function, how it feels and operates as part of the body. Microsurgical replantation is considered the best method to treat avulsion or amputation of unique head parts, such as scalp, nose, or ear. The report is the first to describe the use of this technique for substitutable facial tissues because it consisted of different tissue types, skin, subcutaneous tissue, and blood vessels. The replanted specimen was considered a composite tissue flap, like the donor flaps used for facial transplants. The present case shows that microsurgical replantation of small facial composite tissue is feasible. Therefore, even though an avulsed tissue is substitutable when the tissue is clean and intact, microsurgical replantation should be considered as a top priority, especially on the face. And who wouldn't want to have their own face back? It's wonderful. And people get injured in cars all day. I will share with you in chat the link to the article. Now the question is, who knows about this surgery and who can do it? I mean, if you're in a small town in Nebraska and you're in a car accident and half your face is torn off and it's over there in the ditch, and you don't have EMS really, you have, Joe and John who are volunteer come and pick you up. Are they going to look for that part of your face and save it? Put you on a life flight to Omaha where maybe microsurgery can save your face? I don't know. But the fact that it's out there now, it's now 3 months out, 3 years out, 36 months out from the surgery, the successful surgery, it makes you think that people must know about it and people must be engaged in what's happening. It's very unique and very wonderful, and I really hope that more people will learn about it. Now, this may be probably too late for Dora's friend, because he has the scar already, and that whatever happened, and whatever was supposed to be saved, obviously was not saved. But people get in a lot of trouble, and sometimes they need people to step in and help them a little bit. So it's really great that we have doctors and scientists who are out there doing hard work and good work and trying to figure out how to help people. Well, we've had a wonderful stream, interesting conversation. I appreciate you being here. We are here live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Closed captioned as best we can. Our video on demand, boles.live, is also closed captioned because that's on YouTube. And YouTube auto captions everything we put up there, which is fabulous. That captions everything that's said, here and there, not just me. Twitch, we hope one day will just offer automatic closed captioning for all of their shows, no matter what status you are, and then save it for the video on demand replay. Now, Friday, Janna Marie's coming up with a wonderful American Sign Language lesson in Hardcore ASL. On Saturday and Sunday, she will also be here at 11 a.m. Eastern to chat with you about disability and American Sign Language and other questions you might have and like to chat about. If you'd like to send me an email, you can find me, David, at boles.tv. That's BOLES.T&V. And I spell it out because the closed captioning puts a W in Boles. If you have a question or a comment for Janna Marie, you can email her, Janna, at boles.tv. We are on Twitter. Super follow, now available, at David Boles, B-O-L-E-S. On Facebook, we're plain old B-O-L-E-S on our business page. Instagram is Boles Books. TikTok is Boles TV, and here's our Discord server, as usual. Love to see you there. Love to know what's going on. We will find you, and we will have a wonderful time with you as we move forward in this world together. And so good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. I wish you a happy day and a wonderful evening. And if you have a nap or if you awaken from a deep slumber, I hope that you find joy and happiness in your soul. So until tomorrow, I will see you. I'm David Boles. Back tomorrow, 9 a.m. I'll see you soon. 9 a.m. Eastern.